Hello viewers, welcome to the Serve to Lead podcast. My name is Daisy Mutai and it's good to have you with us. Today in the studio, we have a very special guest, Dr. Peter Mulinge. Welcome, Dr. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much. Good to have this podcast. It's good to be here. My name is Peter Mulinge, the founder of Aslead Institute. And I'm so much excited to be here to discuss more about servant leadership and why it is necessary in our world today.
Today, we are unpacking one of Dr. Mulinge's powerful quote, which has really inspired so many of us in Aslead Institute. And this quote is, "I am valuable, not because of my position, but because I am called to serve others with purpose and integrity." Dr. Mulinge, can you tell us a bit of what inspired this quote?
Thank you, Daisy, for asking such a wonderful question and for arranging that I unpack this quote. I want to say this is one of my most memorable quotes that I have ever quoted. And it came as a result of my journey in servant leadership. To focus on more about my experience and my studies and the reading and the even leading and the being in positions of leadership. So it's like I kind of started asking myself, where is my self-worth? Why in life, where is my self-worth? And it is when this quote will just got to know about it that and I started thinking, what am I valuable for? When people think about Peter Mulinge, what really do they see in Peter Mulinge? And that's why I came up with this quote, "I am valuable because, not because of the position that I have, but it's because of the calling of serving with integrity and the purpose, the people that I have." When I try to think about my journey in becoming a servant leader and having interacted with many people, having sat in relatively good offices and nice offices in the corporate world and also in the church, and having lived in the US and interacted with so many people and had time to sit with people, the question kept, what really makes somebody to be valuable? Is it the position that they have? Or is it the titles that they have? Or is it what they give to other people? So I started asking myself, and I realized that one's self-worth is not based on the positions that they have. Even though in today's world, people covet these offices, they covet these titles, but at the end of the day, I realized that thing alone cannot make somebody to be self-worthy. There is something more than that. There is something more than the position that we hold and the things that we do. There is something more important than that. And that's why I started thinking about my journey of becoming as a leader. And I realized that one can only find their self-worthy in their purpose. Why do I do what I do? Why am I in this office? And unless you get right your why, you can't do what you were called to do. And that's when we call the purpose. What is my purpose in life? And I want to say that one's purpose in life is doing what you were called to do. Because I want to believe that all of us, we have got a call. And if we stick on that call, it gives us self-worthy in life.
Dr. Mulinge, I have a question.
Yes.
What you've explained is very profound, and we will dig more into it. But I want to ask you this question. Why do you believe many leaders struggle with separating their identity from their position?
Oh, thank you so much. That's a very nice question. You know, we live in a world where people, they covet titles and they also covet position. But I want to say this one. I want to say this. Positions, there is what we call positional authority, and there is what we call a personal authority. Positional authority is temporal. It is fleeting. But positional power authority is permanent. And the positional authority is what a leader or somebody is given by an organization that he works on. It is something that you are given. And remember that anything that you are given, it can be easily taken away. But there is what we call positional or personal authority. Personal authority is earned through trust, competence, integrity, and the service that you give to other people. Otherwise, it is what you do for other people that earns you personal authority. And I want to say this, many people, they don't go there. They look for positional authority and power because it is given. And I also want to say this, a leader does not need to dwell or to focus more on positional authority because it is fleeting. It can be taken away, and it does not actually give what I said a self-worthy. Self-worthy is given by the character of a leader. It is not about the position. It is about your character. It is about your integrity. It is about who you are and what people see in you. Because the position that we get is temporary. I want to repeat it again. And let me give you an example. One day, I was given a big office in the US, the organization that I was working on. And, during that time, I was occupying that office. That office gave me respect. People respected me because of that office. But immediately, and the people were really regarding me highly, they were actually counting on me so much, and the respect that I used to get. But I realized that the respect that I used to get when I was occupying that office, I lost it immediately. I left that office. So positions come with respect. And the people don't respect you, or people sometimes does not follow you just because they want to follow you. Or maybe you deserve to be followed, but they follow you because of the office. But this thing we call personal authority, it is something that when you earn it, even when you lose the office, people will still respect you. People will still continue saying that he was a great leader. How many leaders we have seen are not regarded as people when they leave offices? In other words, they are respected as long as they are holding that office. Immediately they lose that office, the respect goes. Because people were not minding about you. They were giving you that office respect because of the position that you had.
Wow, that is powerful. That is powerful. Great, great. Now I'm going to shift you a bit because I know you're big on servant leadership, and we cannot have a podcast that we are not mentioning servant leadership. So how do you define servant leadership, and especially in the context that we are in today. Because many people admire servant leadership, but very few practice it. So maybe you can just define to our audience what servant leadership is and why it is very hard to practice it.
You know, we live in a world of it's all about me, it's not about them. But servant leadership gives the leader the power to focus on other people, not about themselves. What am I doing to the other people? Servant leadership gives you the power to elevate others. Servant leadership gives a leader the power to empower others. Servant leadership gives the leader the power to make others grow and become better than he found them. And this is where actually we see nowadays that we have we hear so many people talk about I'm a servant leader, but when you try to look unto them, are the people that they are leading getting better or they are getting worse? Are their life being transformed? Are they becoming autonomous? Are they getting better than he found them? When somebody comes to a position of leadership, the number one thing they should focus on is not about them, it's about the people that he is leading. Because remember, without those people, then you are not supposed, you can't get into that office. Offices function because of the people. Offices don't function because of a leader. When a leader is not there, even the office can continue running, you see. But it is mainly impactful when there are people. And the focus of a leader, when a leader comes into a position of leadership or a position of authority, the number one thing they should think about, what am I going to do to these people? Not what am I going to do to myself. That is that's the essence of servant leadership. It counterattacks the traditional way of leadership that says that when somebody comes to a position of leadership, they say, what is it in for me? But servant leadership comes to ask, what can I do for you? That is the biggest difference. When a leader comes to power, the number question that they should ask themselves, what can I do for them? Not what can I do for myself. That is what servant leadership is all about.
Wow. If I had an audience, I'm sure they would be clapping, because that is what we all want to see. I have one question before we come to the close, and it's more of the practical steps. What practical steps can an emerging leader, because we have leaders who are millennials going forward who are leaving, then we have the Gen Zs who are coming. So we have emerging leaders. What practical steps can they take to build legacy beyond their tenure?
You know, any person who assumes a place of leadership is so about focusing on developing others. And the four leaders who are emerging, let me first of all come on that. Any leader who is emerging, the number one thing they should ask themselves, who am I serving today? And when you try to recall about our module number 1, we get to the point where we start asking the emerging of a leader. And we noted that, and remember you remember the other quote that I had, that the family unit is the laboratory for nurturing leaders. And if a leader cannot serve in a family circle, they will find it so hard to serve outside there. So for emerging leaders, I want to say this: the best thing and the starting point is, who am I serving today? Remember, I always say this: you cannot be served unless you served. You must start by serving, because it is when we start serving we get to know more about leadership. We gain the experience of how to serve. So the starting point is serve others so that you can be served, and you can mature and become an effective leader. And also your legacy, we start building our legacy the moment we get into that office. We don't want to wait until we come out of that office and then we say that I want to build a legacy. Legacy starts the first minute, the first day you go into that office. That is when you start building your legacy. Legacy building is not a sprint. It is a marathon. You got to go slowly, improving on what? Finding people to mentor, and then putting things into place, because we got to know this. And as I go back to the quote, I am valuable not because of my position. We got to know these positions are temporary, and one day you leave that office, how will you be remembered? What will people remember you about? What did I do? What did you accomplish? And the best accomplishment any leader can make is what you put into people's life, not what you gave them.
Wow. I wish we had like a whole hour so that we can expound on this. Thank you, viewers, for joining us in the Serve to Lead podcast. We welcome you to like, subscribe, and to share our videos, which on YouTube. Our YouTube handle is Aslead Institute. Just search for us there on all social media platforms. You will find us there. And join us again in the next 2 weeks for a continuation of this discussion. Thank you so much.